Hi, I'm Dr. Otto Janke, and thank you for being with me tonight. I'm speaking to you today about this will be part one of my journey to speak at the TEDx stage. It's a neat thing that happens along the way, and it's not always easy. Many people applied. I believe they had over 120 people who applied to the TEDx at SUNY Cortland, and I was one of 12 to be chosen. First of all, this was going to be part one of the journey along the way, and this was not the first time I had applied to speak at a TEDx. I tried for two more. I think they're like 8 years ago, and they were up in Virgil, New York, and I was turned down for both of those. Kind of taken aback by that, honestly. I'm a pretty good speaker. And I have taken numbers of speaking classes, how to really engage the audience, how to engage people, how to get them from step A to step B and stuff along the way. And I got turned down twice. And it can be for any number of reasons. And you don't always know the real reason why, the full reason why you get turned down. Maybe they just don't like you. Maybe they, or maybe you could have fit better with another subject or another TEDx. So it happens, I mean, 120 people applied to speak at this one. I was one of 12. Was I surprised to be selected at this one? Somewhat, somewhat. Most, first of all, because I'm local. I mean, I live in Cortland, New York, and so I mean, I'm a half mile or a mile away from the SUNY Cortland campus itself. Other is that I'm a 60-year-old white guy, and 60-year-old white guys don't do a lot of speaking on the TEDx stage, just to be honest with you. The process itself was, I started it because my friend Jen Rafferty spoke at one at Ithaca College. And she said, you should speak at this. You should find a TEDx and speak. And I said, if one came around, I guess I would speak at it. But, I didn't really want to travel long distances to do this. But if one came around in the area, I guess, within a number of miles or a number of hours, I guess I would. And, son of a bitch, one came up, a mile away, a half mile away. And so she happened to email me and said, I don't know if you saw this, but they're having a TEDx up on SUNY Cortland. And I was like, son of a bitch, they called my bluff, didn't they? And so I applied. And it was Freedom Dreaming. And so I decided to speak on the freedom of longevity, freedom of the independence and longevity. I'm a firm believer that our longevity is based upon independence. And so I wanted to talk about how do we get you to being independent in our next decades. How do we help you get there? And I have no doubt that we can. It's steps we have to take. We don't do them nearly enough. And so I filled out, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 pages of information on me. And the kicker was you had to add a 90-second video of you describing what you're going to talk about. Okay. I mean, I do videos all the time. I do Zooms all the time. I do YouTube videos, and I have a couple of podcasts. So that's not really a problem for me. And so I pumped that out and sent it in and heard nothing. You're like, ooh, I wonder if they got it. And so it was months later, I actually emailed them and said, just want to know if you guys got it and if there's going to be a process of letting us know who has been accepted and who has not been accepted. And they said that they were going to probably do that in about the next week or two. I found out later on there was an 18-person review board. It's like, whoa. And they had to go through 120 people, 120 something people. And so, I mean, and you know how people are, that they're going to wait until, if it's, on Tuesday, they're going to be sending the stuff in Monday night. And so I'm sure people did that. So they're inundated with all that. And plus they're most of them, I think the review board is probably working at Court and State. So you had to go through the process of semesters of teaching and all that. So it took time. Finally, I heard back that I had been chosen. I was like, yeah. And I had been asked to, I had another engagement that weekend. Or that week was going to be that weekend. I would have left on Wednesday, so it was going to be on a Thursday night. It was going to be on a Thursday night, and I'd already booked myself to do something that weekend. Except, reality is, I didn't think I kind of knew I was going to get it, but I didn't think I was going to get it. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, man, I think I have a good subject. I think I have a unique subject also. And so I was thinking, okay, I'll probably get this, but I'm probably not going to get it. I don't know. So I think I had a meeting. I was going to do a meeting, do a seminar that weekend, and I would have left on Wednesday. Ridiculous. I would have left on Wednesday. I wouldn't come back until, Saturday or Sunday, whatever. And it was Thursday night. It was on a Thursday night, but I got chosen. And that was pretty exciting. And now I had to put it into play. And I knew it was going to be less than 15 minutes. And so I had to take my message and condense it down to that time. We were given guidelines as to what to speak on. We were given guidelines as to how long. We were given guidelines as to, what to do, what not to do. Like, you can't sell yourself. You can't sell your business or products from the stage. Totally forbidden. And we were given guidelines as to what to do. And so we met by a Zoom. All of us met by a Zoom one time to go through. Our organizer went through the guidelines and where we're going to meet, how we're going to do things, what the order was. We didn't know what the order of speaking. It was going to be randomly done. I got no problem with that. You want to put me first, put me last, doesn't matter. I'm going to rock anyways. And that's just the way, the confidence I have going into that. So that was pretty neat. Get to meet other people. I think three of the people were from California, and I'm in upstate New York. I thought it was like a long way to go, long way to come to speak. But they were, and I asked one of them, Sarah, who I picked her up at her hotel because I didn't want her walking. There's no problems with that. It's just that it's a lot longer walk than you think it's going to be. I said, why'd you choose here? She said, well, it fit into my time schedule. It seemed like a subject I wanted to do. And I always wanted to do this. For me, it was another box checked with doing it, another step up that I wanted to accomplish. But I also wanted to use it, like many other people do, as a marketing tool, as an advertising tool. And so we get to the point where I am now. I was prepared to speak at the TEDx probably a good month before, easily a month before. I tweaked a couple words along the way, but I was ready to go a month before, easily 2 months before. And some people were tweaking theirs like the week of or the days. I was like, what can you possibly think? It's, let's get it rock solid. Let's get it rock solid and make sure. And you can do a couple things with it. You could have as much tech as you want to, and you can have a full PowerPoint display or not, or little everything, none in between. I chose none because I didn't want it to be dependent upon the technology to be functioning correctly every single minute along the way. I've spoken enough of times to realize, the classic is I've spoken at a wonderful seminar conference in Rochester one day, years ago. And the speaker before me was very tech dependent, very PowerPoint dependent. And when they did, sometimes their videos were high level volume, sometimes they were low level, sometimes they were little pictures, little videos, sometimes they were big videos. And it was almost straining to follow the person. I had to follow that person, and I used no tech right away. Kind of good and kind of bad. My technology had actually failed. My thumb drives were corrupted. How about that? My thumb drives were corrupted, and so I couldn't use them. And I did a talk. So whenever I go do a talk, I always have one that's full PowerPoint, and I have one that's no PowerPoint. That's absolutely just you and me. And I did that one, and I got to tell you the truth, I slayed. I was really good that day. So we get this. We get ready to. I'm ready to speak at the TEDx. I'm ready to go. Picked out my clothes, my lucky underwear. Picked out my lucky underwear, which turned out to be not so lucky. I'll talk about that the next video, but we're ready to go, and it's the day of. And that's where I'm gonna end this one today. Stay tuned. I'll post that one in a little bit, but stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.